teams,
Yes.
support band, cheerleaders.
The auto mix inspired Michael. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes.
Well,
so that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee back. Let's talk a little football.
And welcome to the Press Box. I am so happy you can join us. I am here with Randy Young, Michael Best, Jim Rayburn. I'm Austin Reams, and again, happy you're here. Let's talk some football. Let's talk some high school football. Really hard to know how to start the show today. So many big wins, so we're going to talk a little bit of playoffs. Nothing. You got some things. You guys are set. Some aren't. But let's talk a little bit about like how you think your region's going to fare as you look in this. We don't really know how all the brackets are going to do, but how do you think your region is going to do? I'm going to start with you, Jim.
Well, I haven't looked past the first round. I know first round region 1-3A, if Thompson and Carver should advance, if Cameron Davis is healthy at Doherty, they'll advance. Chris County has to travel to Peach, and that might not
That'd be a tough
that
deal
might
going
not
to
be
Peach.
so nice. We're probably going to get Jackson, which is just up above Mary Persons, because unless Mary Persons gets beat this weekend, so that we pretty much know who we're going to play. We should advance. But then after that, I don't know who we'd line up with. I'm not like Michael. I don't look that far in advance.
But in general, you do expect a lot from your region to make a run. To me, there's some three strong teams.
At the start of the year, you had three teams expected. That was Carver, Doherty, and Crisp. They were all ranked in the top 10. Well, Crisp has not been the crisp that they thought they would be.
They haven't been as crisp.
No, they hadn't been as crisp. Their offense is not very crisp.
Yeah.
They
Well done.
and they did not like to get hit, so they got hit Friday.
That's a problem.
The red helmet now means something like it used to. They're striking people again. So, but I'd say three out of the four should advance to the second round.
And possibly further. So, Michael, what about cert makers?
I don't know.
You don't know at all.
I know we got Bainbridge this week.
Yeah, I know it's all
that.
about.
Kind of focused in on that right now.
Y'all play Bainbridge?
I don't know if there's a playoff game after that.
You don't even know.
I don't even know if
You
we
haven't
made
even
the
checked.
They
playoffs.
done been celebrating how many years they've been at home for a playoff.
you got
We're
that.
not
5
looking.
years or something.
We're just whoever comes, we'll play them.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
And the rest of our region, I think, Bainbridge is going to do well outside of the region. And hard away is always very hard away.
Now, wait, have they made the playoffs?
Well, there's a three-way tie after us in Bainbridge. And they all have identical records, so somebody's going to
What is that identical
What's the
record?
tiebreaker for the
Well,
region? Is it points again?
I think it's points given up or something.
Wait again, what's that identical record again?
Yeah.
Well, they're all got.
Have they
good-
beaten either? Have either of them won?
Have they beat anybody other than themselves?
They could all possibly be 1-3 when it's when it's done. And if Westover beats Shaw, I think that's how it goes. They'll all be 1-3. So I don't know.
Excellent.
Somebody's
That's
gonna
what I
come
want to
out of
have
that
happen.
Power
yes.
jam.
Yeah.
It sounds like Bainbridge and Cairo
Bainbridge
got
and
a
Cairo
shot.
are-
We got a shot, and I don't know after that.
All right. Well, let's move on to Thomas County Central's region. You got some good teams
Pretty
there.
solid, yeah. I think all four of them have got a shot at moving on, at least past the first round. It looks like Houston County will end up fourth. Their quarterback threw for right at 600 yards Friday night against Tift County, which is not a shock.
That's not a shot.
Not a shock. And it looks like Lee County is going to be the number 3 seed, which they may be the best 3 seed in the whole darn state. And then we'll figure out 1 and 2 whenever we play Northside Friday night. So, I mean, it's pretty sporty. I think all four of them got a shot at moving on. Past the first round anyway.
Going up to Colquitt's region, what are your thoughts on there? So, I mean, Colquitt's undefeated. You kind of think they're going to keep rolling. Valdosta,
Camden's going to probably wind up 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get Lowndes this week, and Lowndes will make it because they beat Richmond Hill. So it's going to be Richmond Hill will be the odd team out unless something drastic
weird happens like that.
Yeah, Valdosta's kind of become bipolar here all of a sudden. I don't know what to expect.
Well, they got a young offense. They play good defense, but I think they got caught in a trap against Camden.
Right.
And they wasn't going to beat Moultrie.
Right. But
Colquitt, excuse me.
Yeah, Colquitt. That's old school for those. That's the old school the way
That's
to
old
say
school.
Colquitt County.
That's how
right
us
there.
old timers called. Old timers called.
Of Moultrie. But Colquitt, they are solid.
Yeah, I mean,
No worries
That
there.
quarterback's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we talk about that 24-6 win over Valdosta and a region champ. So we've got region champs,
Potential.
region champs, potential region
Potential.
champs, potential region champs, and then Colquitt County. So no pressure on y'all's two programs that y'all represent, but let's go. Let's make it a sweep here, guys.
Yeah, well, Colquitt right now, I think as far as Class 7A is concerned, and I realize that you've had Buford been ranked very highly. I'll put them up against anybody, as well as they're playing on both sides of the ball, too. Colquitt's pretty doggone sporty. And if the right Valdosta team shows up, they can play with and beat anybody, too. And I think Camden, with Jeff Herron back in the head coaching position, they're turning the corner, and they'll be a team to watch in the next year or so. And they may make a little bit of a run, possibly, but Colquitt for sure.
Yep. Congratulations to Colquitt County, again, region champs, and they're going to be playing at Richmond Hill. So, and then Richmond Hill, I don't think has any wins in the region, is not doing well in region play.
It's a tough region.
So, yeah, which is a pretty tough region anyway.
It's a tough hill for them to climb.
That's right.
Toward Richmond, I understand.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
was-
hard away.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
the West,
I
it's a
wonder how
rich-
they would go
it's a
against
rich
Hardaway, but we'll see how that
play 'em.
game's. But speaking
Play them
of
away.
difficult though, speaking of that, let's talk about Thomas County Central's win over Goliath. I was listening to that on the radio, 39-30, and boy, that was a treat listening to you guys count that one down and enjoy that victory. Just take me through the game, Randy.
Well, to be honest with you, it started out about as bad as it possibly could. I think we got everything that we expected from Lee. They were wounded from the loss from Northside. They had to win to have an opportunity to be able to host in the first round and still stay in the possibility, at least mathematically, for the region. And Michael will tell you, he rode up there with us. They came out guns a-blazing.
Yeah, I was on the lee side, and then I had to move over to the
Yeah.
other side. I thought I'm in the right spot. Now, so
Yeah.
I can get over here now.
It was 10-0 before you could blink. And they hit another big pass play and got down inside our 25, and they're poised to take a 17 or 13-0 lead. And at that point, our defense kind of rose up a little bit. We stopped them 3 straight downs, and they lined up. Actually, on the third down play, we got a sack for about 8 yards that put them kind of on the edge of their field goal range. And they tried a long field goal and missed it to the left, and we got the ball and came right down the field and scored on that drive right after that missed field goal. And we used a double pass. Lee County's defense, extremely athletic and very aggressive, very aggressive.
Michael calls that trick
Trick
play.
play.
When you score on them,
You gotta trick people.
that's a trick. You trick.
Yeah.
You got to trick people.
Well, you're taking advantage of what the defense
That's
gives
That's
you.
right.
That's right.
That's right.
And two, you got to wait until the right time to call those things
Yeah.
too. And we were running the ball early on and not really doing that great. And I kept thinking, what are we doing? But we were setting up that play, and we pitched it, or actually threw it over to Tyler Floyd behind the line of scrimmage, and he reared back and threw it about 45 yards or so and found Malachi Thomas, our tight end. And there wasn't anybody in the
nobody
same county
near
I
around him.
saw the highlights where he's walking in. I'm like, man, what are you doing? And then
Yeah.
I come to realize, there was
Well,
nobody.
it's one of
near.
those where you're thinking, please catch it. Please
yeah.
don't drop that.
Those are difficult catches,
Yes.
by the way.
Well, we get the ball back, and doggone if Lee County doesn't adjust what they're doing, and we do it again. And this time hit Adam Hopkins, now this time the ball hung up in the air a little bit, and the defensive backs kind of went, oh, okay, and got there just about the time the ball got there, but he was able to drive in, and we take a 14-10 lead. And it was back and forth. But in the fourth quarter, actually late in the third quarter, you kind of felt like we were starting to take control of the lines of scrimmage a little bit. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Ousmane Chroma, I know that's a mouthful to say. Remember that name.
Yeah, he can play football.
Man, he is a warrior. We hit him and twisted and turned him. They'd scrape him off the field. Guys would help him off. And then 2 plays later, he'd be back in there and break a 30-yard run. He ended up with about 180 yards for the night, and he earned those yards. The last play of the third quarter, we forced them into a 4th down and 2 inside their 30.
Yeah.
And I think we were ahead at that point, if I remember right, 33 or 30 to 24, I believe, something like that. Anyway, on the first play of the fourth quarter, they decided to go for it. And they run their punt team on, and then they just run them off, and they run Chroma on, and they're going to direct snap to him. Well, Justin Rogers, our head coach, calls a timeout, and I kind of thought, okay, well, now they won't do it. They were going to try to use the element of surprise, which if you're going to do something like that, the surprise element's a big part. But doggone if they didn't try it. And the ball bounced off the kids' hands and it rolled to the end zone, and they dove on it in the end zone for a safety. And the game kind of turned, I think, at that point. And we pretty well took control of it. Trey Brenton ends up with about 190 yards rushing, and most of those in the fourth quarter. Tyler Floyd with the 2 touchdown passes. Sam Brown breaks Charlie Ward's single-season passing record. He's now at 2,003 yards for the season. And we win at 39-30. Big game, huge game, and exciting as heck.
Yep.
And now we get ready to play for a region championship, which at the beginning of the year, I never in a million years would have thought I'd be saying that, but here we are.
That's cool.
It is.
Super great season. And you think, just real quick, you think the Jackets can kind of go to the well one more time? You've had some emotional games here. How do you think it's going to play out?
That's a real good question, and it's hard to get kids up week after week after week. Houston County, we knew that was going to be a test, really kind of the first toe dip in the big pool. This one this past week, I mean, you're playing them in their place and you find a way to win it. Northside's defense is their strength. Their front four is about as good as anybody in the state. So they've been really good at shutting down running attacks. But the good news for us is we got 4 or 5 guys we can throw it to and a guy who can deliver it to them. We've never beaten Northside. We're 0-4 against them. So hopefully we'll go up there and take care of business. But the best news of all, we have assured ourselves our first home playoff game in 6 years. So we will be 1 or 2 depending on what happens Friday night.
All right.
Yep.
Jacket fans,
Be there,
need to
be there. Oh, and let me say this, compliments to the Yellow Jacket fans.
Yeah.
And Michael will back me up on this. Central had way more people there than Lee County did. We were talking about before we started taping. I don't know if the Lee County folks are complacent, but the Yellow Jackets showed up, and hopefully they'll do the same this
A
Friday.
lot of blue and gold there.
Yeah, are you okay with that?
He
or-
did
okay.
all right. He did all
I
right.
thought
You
it
okay
did.
with that?
That didn't make you sick?
He was wearing black. He was
I
wearing
ate
black.
crackers. I ate
Yeah,
saltines.
just kind of keep
Some
yourself.
I
Tums.
wore black
nothing.
and stood outside in the morning. And
Well, let's talk about, you're not going to be in mourning if we get a win this week. So,
True.
Cairo, Bainbridge, do we have a ceremony like, instead of syrup sopping, do we have like a Cairo, Cairo, Bainbridge,
A
Bearcat
Bearcat
skinning?
grill or something?
Yeah,
Cairo,
something, I mean.
Cairo's rivals are Thomasville and Central. We just have never kicked up a big rivalry with Bainbridge. We are their rival, big time. They don't have one. I mean, who they going to go against?
Seminole County.
Early
Seminole County.
Early County.
Early might be a good one, I
Used to
guess.
be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not. It's us. And last year, it was a very heated situation. They beat us, and you'd have thought they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were back flipping, jumping. There was
Planted, did they
Poking
plant? Was this
holes
the
in the
flag?
they
turf.
planted the hole in the
Did it
turf
ruin the
with
turf?
the flag. There was syrup getting squirted all over it. So that has all been addressed.
They got the syrup.
That can
Y'all got
alarms
syrup
and
detectors?
Yeah, we
Yes.
got we got syrup detectors now. And we'll
Sponsored by
catch you
Miss Buttersworth.
when you come in. We're gonna wind you with a.
Yeah, I got you.
With a pancake. If it bends,
Make sure you
Go
ain't got
with a
no
biscuit.
syrup. Yeah. And but we ain't gonna let that happen this year. So it's going to be a very heated game. It'll be a packed house. It'll be an exciting atmosphere. I hope that we can play our best.
They won't wand me, will me?
No,
will they?
no, I've already
Well,
given you a pass.
I'm gonna smuggle some in.
They're going to biscuit you.
Yeah.
Biscuit you. But and by the way, I found the one you licked. I found it. I had to go see the
The
doctor.
pumpkin is
So the pumpkin from
The
last
pumpkin that
week.
he licked last week, I finally found it. I went through that whole bag, and I could tell.
You're on antibiotics now?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Took
You feeling all right?
some ivermectin.
That made, that made your week.
It did. It did. But I digress. We've got to just come out and play our best. We've got to play our best against Bainbridge. We're still licking our wounds from that first game of the year.
Oh,
And,
stop that. Man,
emotionally
y'all
and
and Thompson
spiritually.
both are
All
playing
right,
great
so
now.
since Michael's not going to give us a preview, what do you guys think about this Bainbridge team? Y'all both have played this Bainbridge team. What are we looking for? Good defense normally. You think it's going to be a defensive struggle?
That's the turning point of our season. Our kids knew they were better than Bainbridge, and we just did not play. And it was like a funeral or a wake after the ball game, and that was the turning point of the season. So we had a hard time beating Cairo. I think we should have beat Bainbridge a lot easier. So I did something this.
Are you,
I did something. I
are you
did.
going to pick
Say it.
Mac?
I can't say it.
I did something this past.
You can't say it.
I
Say
did
it.
something this past Friday night in our picks part.
Yeah.
I never picked Central.
Oh, and you
Did
picked
you?
I
Central.
picked Central, and I took the lead in the picks because I picked them.
Oh,
But we don't have
man.
that this week.
The
So
apocalypse is coming. This
Yeah,
just in, folks.
live.
they told me I was banned from the pick.
Everybody
So
head
you-
to
I
church.
think Cairo's got
You
a
think
good
Cairo's
shot.
gonna-
I think Cairo's got a good shot.
All right.
And I will agree. It's two physical teams, and their nature of both of them is their defense, flat out.
Yeah.
Always is. But to me, I think Cairo has turned that corner where Bainbridge has just kind of been biding their
Yeah.
time, and I think Cairo has turned that corner.
Got some playmakers on
That's it.
offense
That's
over
it.
there, too.
That's
Well, I think Bainbridge has played a lot tougher non-region schedule.
Yeah.
And, we have gotten better each
How
week.
could they play anybody tougher than Central and Thomasville?
Well, that's what
No,
I'm
he
saying.
said
Yeah,
he said
yeah.
they played a
Yeah.
tougher schedule.
Well,
Non-regional.
because we played
And
y'all
y'all
too.
too.
And we
That's what
did.
I'm
I think
getting
we
at.
played
They played like Cedar Grove
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
Let me
Yeah.
let me tell you the key though. That young offensive line that we talked about at
and
the
they've
beginning
gotten
of the
better
year.
and older. And
No seniors on that line at the beginning of the year, and that's a tough spot to be in. They're not fresh or sophomores and juniors
Right.
anymore. And to me, that's where the rubber's going to hit the road. And behind, with that quarterback behind him, I think Cairo's
it'll
got
be a great
shot.
and we haven't had a home atmosphere that meant something
Yeah.
like this. and
That's
it
going to be
does.
fun,
It's
man.
gonna
I
be
can't
fun.
wait. I can't wait for that.
Yep.
All right, a couple of more games around the CNS area we're talking about. We've got, we're going to get to Thomasville. Let's
Oh,
stay.
you not going to skip us?
No, I'm not going to skip you this time. Mitchell County defeats Randolph Clay 28-0, and Mitchell County is going to be playing Baconton Charter, and Pelham is over Bacon 47-24.
They were crisp. When
Gotta
Yeah,
get 'em-
yeah.
You got to get them early.
And then they were playing at Brooks. And let's talk Thomasville. I
Let's
thought,
talk Pelham at Brooks. The hammer's going to get laid down.
yeah, I was going to say I would
Brooks got beat this past week, a couple of weeks ago by Irwin.
Brooks
So
is
that
out for blood here. That's not it. That doesn't
Yeah.
Their
bode well for
quarterback
them.
got hurt, I think, and that's been a big problem for them.
well, they lost their best running back in our game with them. I don't know for the year, but probably. So that didn't help them any. Then they didn't play from September the 16th to October the 14th.
yeah, a month
Yeah.
off.
Right.
That was kind of
Yep,
odd right
weird.
there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk big win over Chris, 44-0. And to me, one of those games, I think, a focus game where you prove to your fans and you prove to everybody just how dialed in you are as a team. So, thoughts on the game?
Second time we've done that, we had Columbus ahead of Carver or after Carver, and everybody knew Columbus was no good. And our kids came out and scored the first 7 times they touched the football, and Chris chose to defer to the second half, and we were up 7-0. And you knew our offense was focused. Cole Shaw had a couple of big catches. Levante Cole, the freshman, started at running back. He wound up with 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jay Randall didn't. He played more defense. Probably the best move we've ever made. He's played cornerback 2 games. He has 3 picks and 1 touchdown on defense, and he got that one Friday night. But
He's a ball hawk.
he's a
over
ball
there.
hawk. He's kind of like Demario Thurman on the other side. Now you got a corner on both sides that can shut the opposing receivers down and not let them get behind them. And if they do, they can run them back down. But the whole team, Cam Hill was 6 of 8, 7 of 8. No, I don't think we threw a touchdown pass, but he just continues to make the right decisions. He made a couple of key passes that he would not have made early in the season, but like Randy said, he's not a freshman anymore. He may be a sophomore.
Yeah.
He's
And
only 14 years old.
He's
though.
a smart sophomore,
He's
too.
very
Makes for
smart, and he's very unassuming. He's not
Pretty low-key
Even
guy.
key.
low key. He's not high on himself. He's a mistake doesn't get to him. He reminds me of a Sean Jones that comes off the field. You just leave him alone. He knows what he did wrong.
Yeah.
And he's played great defensively. We got Jaden Alston and Del Triage.
Is that Grimsley?
Grimsley, they call the kid. I said that's a hard name to call. Well, the kids call him the Grim Reaper, so we started calling him the Grim Reaper. And he's
You
played.
can't remember his
last-
name because you go remember.
Right, the last 3 games he's played huge on defense. The red hat means something again, like it did years ago. That they're striking people now. They're not shy. They're hitting people all over the field. So, Chris was supposed to be one of the best teams. They've had a few injuries and stuff like that, but I heard their coach wanted to run a clock in the second quarter.
Yeah.
It was that out of control. But anyway,
Good to see that. Now you've got
we got Thomasville.
you
this
got
week.
Thomasville. I can't say open. Jim told me to say we're playing Thomasville. You're playing
Coach
Thomasville.
DeLay doesn't like open. He said we're playing Thomasville. We're getting better. We're playing. So,
and you need
and
to.
he has done that. That's what we've had. The Open we had before, we came out better than we were before the Open. So he does a great job, and the kids have bought into his system, and the kids have bought. He keeps them pepped up, and he's not the big motivator like Zach was, but he motivates in his own style.
And everybody has their own style of motivating. So I think that's what's cool about coaching, and you see represented here.
Proud of my Bulldogs.
All right, and so
If you were proud of your Bulldogs, you'd have been there Friday night.
Well, I knew they had that one.
I did.
I was
I'm glad you
scouting.
did.
I was scouting Central in case y'all played them again.
He wanted to go eat some barbecue out of town. That's all that was.
was.
That's all that was.
That's
Don't
all
listen
it
to him.
was. I was taking hostage.
last score, Brookwood defeats Terrell 41-28. So
Yes.
they're playing Valwood, another kind of focus game.
Wasn't
where
that
you
a
have
region championship?
Is this for the state
well, you already had a
championship?
region
Oh,
championship.
they already had the region.
It's probably
So,
for the state, ain't it? Y'all don't go long. I mean, this
They have one last game and one last regular season game.
Oh, okay. I know
See if
that.
I
I
can
know
get that
the
out.
state championships.
And
coming
then,
quick.
so if they would get a bye week and then 2 home games if they win this game against Valwood.
Still
So
according to what Max Prep
yeah,
says.
still according to what Max Prep says. So kind of goofy way they do that. So anyway, so another big game
But
at
congratulations
Valwood.
to the Warriors. I
Yep,
mean, it's
congratulations to
clearly.
the Warriors. So region champs again. So glad to see that. And glad to see them come out and play well. Had reasons not to. Terrell played really well, but they Warriors come out and win. So glad to
well
see
enough.
that. That's
Not
right.
well
That's
enough.
right. And we'll hope to do better coming back for the college edition of the Press Box. And welcome back to the Press Box. I'm so glad you can join us. Let's talk a little college football. Big game this week. Could spend all the time on this game, but let's talk Georgia, Tennessee. When it boils down to it, I'm thinking about the Georgia offense versus the Tennessee defense. That's where the game is going to be won or lost. But Randy, give me your thoughts on how that's going to go this week.
I like Georgia's chances. I think Georgia's a much more physical team. And the Tennessee offense, at least based on what I've seen, if you can adjust and withstand the storm in the first quarter or so, you got a shot. I mean, you go back to the Alabama game, and Alabama played about as bad as Alabama could play, and they still were one play away from winning that game. And I know Michael's going to Athens to go work with Stetson a little bit and
I'm
confer
trying to get
with
feet work.
Kirby.
But Tennessee's got a chance.
That does that.
That's right.
You're
For
saying
the-
they got a
Yeah,
chance.
that's right.
The biggest thing is that Georgia is not afraid to line up and run the football. And I think that's probably what you're going to see. They'll try to shorten the game a little bit and maximize the pressure on Tennessee's possessions.
And that's where it is. Can Tennessee stop that run and make Georgia uncomfortable? I think that's what it's going to be right there. And maybe make Stetson Bennett be uncomfortable for, different passes that he may not want to
But
make.
if you work with him, then
But
Michael, he won't
you're
be
going to
able
see
fine.
Kirby
He'll be
tomorrow
fine.
and work
He'll
a
be
game
fine.
plan. So
He'll be fine.
what's the game plan you're throwing out to Kirby?
I'm going to tell you this. Georgia's opening with an 11-point favorite. They had no way. Yeah, 10 points.
Hey,
You're not going
10.
11.
I'm not going
You wouldn't go
11.
11,
You're not
but
going
you
They had
11.
10. I had 10 points.
hey guys!
They're out of their
What
mind.
was the score? What was the spread for that
It was 23.
Georgia?
23.
Yeah, it's hard to get to that.
But we're not going 20.
That's right. It's hard to get to that
22,
24, man.
22.
It's hard.
22-5.
See the show last week.
Anyway, yeah, go back and watch the archives. I think I'm scared to death.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope that
You should be,
that
but
Georgia can
Tennessee's
hang with
good.
them. Tennessee's a very good football team, and like Randy said, I don't think we've shown everything we can do, and I think that we've got to keep the ball out of their hands.
Yep.
Yeah. Run game's important.
And I think Georgia defensively is a little sportier. I mean, right now Georgia's up in the top 10 just about in every statistical category, and I think overall Tennessee's defense is 101st overall, something like that.
What's the
Tennessee's defense is getting well, though. Against
Yeah.
Alabama, they had several
They had a safety
Yeah.
out.
safety
on
and a
there.
cornerback out.
Yeah.
So-
And I think too those statistics may be skewed a little bit because the opposing teams are getting so many possessions because Tennessee's
Yeah.
scoring so doggone quick,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
I'm sure probably doesn't help. But I still think Georgia. Let's put it this way: if Tennessee goes into Athens, and the biggest game that's ever been played between the hedges, and that's saying something with 100 years worth of history there.
Yeah.
They beat the number 1 ranked team and defending national champions in their backyard. They deserve to win it. They're a better football team.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with that.
What's the best offense Georgia has played so far? Just off the top of your head,
I'd say the Oregon game.
Oregon game.
Very efficient, very effective.
I think Oregon is really, that's an interesting argument for another day, but Oregon's really turned the corner after that
Bo Nix says
game.
if they played again that Oregon would beat them.
Yeah, but
Yep.
Bo Nix can't win in the SEC.
Well, that's what he
Well,
says.
I think
He says a lot of things.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He
I
hasn't
think
beat Georgia
they've,
the last 5 times he
yeah,
played.
I think they've given him a lot of confidence. It's been neat to see him
They've
turn
turned
it
it around.
around.
They've looked
so.
good. But to me, again, the difference in this thing is going to be Georgia's physicality. And that to me is going to be the difference. And 2 words, Kirby Smart. If anybody can find a way to defend an offense, Kirby's the guy to do it.
I bet they've been working on it for a while.
I
That's
think they
what I'm
have.
thinking.
It looked like they started working on it after halftime of the Florida game, too,
Yeah.
didn't it? Golly.
It's hard to get that
Started selling
24.
them Massey Ferguson tractors, too. for the-
It's hard to
better
get that
not
23
have,
points.
They better not have that third quarter against Tennessee.
You are exactly
That's
right.
true. That's true.
If they have that one
Yep.
quarter like that,
Yep.
they may be behind the 8.
Maybe they got it out of their system.
I don't think there's going to be any focus issues with this
No,
game. though,
there
so.
shouldn't be.
Speaking of focus issues, let's talk Florida State. Miami used to be a great rivalry game.
Still a great rivalry
It's
game.
still going to be fun. As a FSU fan,
Florida State's back.
we're back to winning. We won,
was big.
beat Georgia
You
Tech.
finally beat Georgia Tech.
Finally, goodness gracious, it's been a while since we beat them. So to me, it's going to be good Miami, and so to me, the FSU coaching staff is going to have to convince the players that the Miami that we've seen the past couple of games with a couple of injuries.
Yeah.
Miami hasn't looked good. Let's be honest.
Jake
but-
Garcia, by the way, playing quarterback now.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Valdosta.
he kind of played
From
half a
USC,
year.
Valdosta,
Valdosta.
Grayson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has Valdosta connections.
He changed the
He changed the rules there.
eligibility rules in,
He did.
in
Yeah,
Georgia.
That's right.
That's
the
right.
Garcia
The
rule.
Garcia rule there. So do you think FSU will be able to keep their composure against Miami when
They
this
never
game is
have.
close?
They never have. They'll do some stupid penalty, usually being over aggressive against Miami.
Too much emotion.
Yep.
A lot of emotion in this game. So,
Yeah.
and FSU hasn't done well with that in some of these big rivalry games. So I'm looking at them to make the next step. If they play well, they'll win. But I do think this is going to be a close game against
Is it
Miami.
in Tallahassee?
No, it's
No,
down
it's
in
in
Miami.
Miami.
So again, Miami won't show up for the Duke game where they had 8 turnovers, but they
Yep.
will show up for this game
Yep.
prime time.
Yep.
Of course.
So
Yep.
so Miami's a different team with that going on. So speaking of different, instead of yes no, we got a little bit different. We got stop go. All
No
right.
trick or treat.
So no trick or treat. We had
It's
that
today's-
last week.
This week
you
was
know,
trick
When
or
they
treat.
watch this, it'll be
But it's
past
going to be
Halloween.
watched.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they're going to
true.
watch
That's
it.
true.
It's going to be November. So
See, that's
how
why
about a
there's no
little bit of
autumn mix.
stop
That's
go?
why no autumn mix
no
for your
autumn
wife to
mix.
hide.
And I don't want to get in trouble with your doctor either. So no autumn mix there.
He's
So-
doing you a favor, Michael. That's what he's saying.
Sure.
All right. So here we go. Randy,
Gummit, I knew he was going to come to me.
Georgia keeping Tennessee under 38. Let's go.
Go.
All right. You keep
Go.
go.
Stop.
You say stop. All right.
What do you say?
I think they'll go over 38. I think they'll go over 38. But I don't think it's going to be like the Bama score, though.
39.
39.
Yeah,
Somewhere there. Way over.
38.52
That's it.
38.5.
That's it. Which rounds off.
to 39.
You know, I make one mistake, guys. One mistake. All right. Texas A&M offense. Randy, let's go.
Stop.
All right. Stop.
Stop.
All shows you that money can't buy everything.
Oh,
Stop.
Ooh,
you
good
wouldn't
job.
say
That's the
stop.
truth.
They look decent against, but that was a bad Ole Miss team. But maybe they found a quarterback there.
And they were playing with the sense of desperation, too.
They were. They were. All right. So this is for you, Jim. TCU Horned Frogs to the playoffs. Let's go.
Ooh.
Stop.
All right. You say stop. They play Texas Tech, Texas, Baylor, Iowa State's on their
I'm
schedule.
going to say stop.
You gonna say stop?
Stop.
No Big
right.
12 team. Can
No
beat.
Big 12 team. All right. Michael, University of Florida rebuild. Let's go. You okay with it?
Yeah, go.
Okay. You say go.
They got a
you say
good
go.
quarterback.
I'm going to say, I like the Napier. I like the coach. I'm going to say go.
Yeah, I'm gonna say go. What do you say?
I say go.
All right. All right, last one. Here we go, Randy. Urban Meyer to Auburn. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. Every Auburn fan in the entire viewing area just turned the television
I
off.
know.
Or
I'm
either
sorry,
through the
Auburn
remote
fans.
through the television. That's a big stop.
That's a big stop.
Stop. Four-way stop.
That's I should even stop from saying
Four-way
it.
stop.
You
Four-way
should be,
stop.
you
Yes.
should be banned from
Should
TV.
be
if you say that. Stop.
That's right. That would be awesome if I was banned for TV for that. All right. Appreciate you guys watching. Okay, who's going to be the next Auburn coach? Real quick. I don't know, man. Nobody knows, right? I mean, because all the usual suspects you wouldn't think are a fit. So, anyway,
Dion.
I would
is
say
gonna
I would
be
say a
a-
stop on
Yeah.
Dion. I would say a stop on Hugh Freeze. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting.
Lane
See
Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin, maybe. All right. Hey, we'll see you next week on the Press Box.